Hi, everyone. I am Chris O'Connor, your chairperson for State of Search Conference this year. It's being held in Richardson, Texas at the Renaissance Hotel, October 24th and 25th. And if you don't have your tickets yet, you better get them because we have a limited number of seats and the price is going to go up soon. So, what we're doing today is, and on several of these videos, is talking with our speakers that are coming to the event to teach you their knowledge on what's happening in the digital marketing world. And today I'm very excited to have Scott Baradell,
I
and
like that.
he's going to
I'm
tell
going to
us what
switch
he's
to.
going to talk about and why you should come to State of Search this year. Hi, Scott. So glad you're here today.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you for inviting me and including me as State of Search. I had the good fortune to be a closing keynote last year at State of Search when it was virtual, and it was a lot of fun. I talked about reputation management, and look forward to doing it in person this year. This year, my topic is the three-dimensional brand: head, body, and heart, where we talk about, I think, a new, more modern way of thinking about branding that I think a lot of attendees will find of value and maybe help put some pieces together. We lived in such a confusing world sometimes; it's hard to know how to prioritize. So this is a way to think about branding in the context of today's world.
Absolutely. And it's so important. We hear that conversation all the time: brand, 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 brand. And a lot of people don't really understand it. Yeah, I've got my name, I've got my logo, that's brand, right? Well, there's a lot more to it than that. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that. So I'm really excited to hear what you get to share with us and give us a little teaser. Give us a little teaser.
Well, yeah. You're right. Some people think brand is your logo and your name, and those should be reflections of something larger, which is a story about who you are. And so, I've been doing branding and branding workshops for 20 years now, and it used to be that when we do a branding session, the core question we try to get to is what do you do, and try to get to the answer to that in a way that was really succinct, differentiated you from your competitors, maybe tie that to an emotional element to make the benefit of your product resonate with your audience just beyond features and benefits, to have that kind of aspirational quality. But what we talk about today, and what I'll be talking about at State of Search, is the concept of the three-dimensional brand, and that's how we do branding today. So, whereas I used to ask, "What do you do?" Now I ask our clients, "Why do you exist?" Which is a
Well,
much larger question.
yes.
Do you exist to make money? Do you exist to make a widget? Or do you exist in some way to make the world a better place? Because ultimately, I think most entrepreneurs have that kind of aspiration in there that sometimes gets lost as you're trying to, in the day to day of selling your product. But that's what appeals most to your buyers and other audiences today, is having something larger that they can be a part of besides
Yeah.
just buying your thing. And so, how that is translated into the three-dimensional brand approach is that we talk about your body being your product. That's your You need it to sustain yourself, but if all you have is your body, then you're kind of like a zombie. You're missing something.
Yeah.
You're like that person at the party that just talks about themselves, and that's all they want to talk about. You just have your product you want to talk about. So that's your body. Your heart is your social purpose. So today, um, you know, it's every study you see out there shows that increasingly customers want to buy from brands that align with their values. They want, and it doesn't have to be political. I mean, you can, if you want to support the environment, you can be about sustainability without getting into climate change. There's a way to approach all of these issues in a way that doesn't hit those political hot buttons, and to touch on themes that are fairly universal, and can align with people's values without necessarily putting your brand in the hot seat or making people or dogs choose between one one set of values and another. But it shows that you're out there doing things for reasons besides just to sell.
Yeah.
And having a social purpose and a heart and values associated with your brand, there's a large percentage of consumers that will tell you that they will buy from a brand specifically because they align with its values. And
Yeah.
then that's so body's your product, heart's your social purpose, and then head's thought leadership. And that's what you should be leading with online today. I know there's going to be a lot of people at State of Search that are content marketers, SEO folks, reputation ORM folks. Look, whatever you're doing out there, you're not going to get anywhere with a bunch of content that promotes a product. You need something valuable to share. And
Yes.
that's really what I'm talking about in thought leadership is having something to contribute to the conversation online beyond talking about yourself. And
Yes.
yeah, and
Yes.
so what we try to do in our branding today, which we didn't used to, we used to, like I think most branding firms talk about, how do we really package your product to differentiate it or your brand as a company and what you sell. Now we talk about how do we take this idea, your thought leadership strategy, your social purpose, your product. How do we pull all those threads together so they're really neatly aligned? They're very consistent. And I'll give you an example quickly of a brand that does this well is an $8 billion revenue company called Lego. You might have heard of.
Yes.
They sell little plastic bricks.
Yes,
But
they do.
but what
Bought
they
many of them in my lifetime. I had a little boy.
but if you ask them why they exist, it's not to sell little plastic bricks. It's to nurture the creativity of children, and that's a much bigger purpose. And they can
Yes.
tie their social initiatives, such as protecting children from online predators, sustainability, like having a future world that's going to be there for our children, or DEI. Their DEI initiatives, they tie back to the idea that having a more diverse and inclusive world contributes
Yeah.
to creativity of our children. So they can take all of these elements of the things they're doing besides selling their product and tie them back to this strategy that I think really connects with people. So what we tell our clients, we have mostly B2B tech clients. We tell them you don't have to be Lego to do that. And you don't have to be a B2C brand to do that. Any brand can do that today. And so
Mhm.
that's how we try to start all our engagements is getting our clients to start thinking more broadly like that. And that's what I hope to do in the presentation at State of Search.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait because I think that's so important. It's such a missed opportunity on so many levels. And I work both with B2C and B2B. I'm mostly a B2C kind of girl because that's what I grew up in basically. But I'm learning the B2B, and honestly, there's not a super big difference between B2C and B2B because we're all still people, right?
Right.
The supply chain just works a little differently in the B2B than it does the B2C. So, I mean, honestly, what I can use in B2C, I've been able to use very well in the B2B. But I'm kind of excited because I know that people always think that B2B is very different than B2C, but I'm finding a little differently. And I love your thought process on what you're going to teach us because I really like that, community basically. And I think that's what you do in business these days is you grow a community, and you'll when you build that community, communities are loyal and they're going to support you no matter what. I mean, you talk about Lego, and I mean, my son's 31 now. I still have his Legos from when he was a kid because I didn't want to give them up.
Right.
But I'll have them for my grandkids hopefully someday. So kind of it loyalty. I have loyalty to that product brand because it's a quality. It lasted 31 plus years, and so we continue. But we could chat about this forever. But I want to ask you another question, which is kind of out of left field for right now. But tell me, Scott, what's your favorite fast food?
Wow. Favorite fast food. I think maybe, oh, I love to take the kids to this place called, I guess it's a fast food. It's called Super Chicks. It's like, chicken tenders, but
Oh,
they have little they have, like, ice cream for the kids that comes with a kids meal and stuff. They love it, so
I've never heard of that. Super
yeah.
Chicks?
Yeah, it's, super and then CHIX. So
Huh,
the kids love it, so we go there a fair amount.
that's
There
awesome.
there
Okay.
are multiple ones in Dallas, I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm north of Dallas, but I've never heard of it. But I'm gonna go look it up and see where else they are because that's kind of I like something new and different, see what it's like. All right. So, Super Chicks. Now, you've been in this space for a long time, in digital marketing for a very long time, and you've seen people come and go. But who do you see on the forefront that somebody we should be watching for
Hmm.
moving up in the chain?
Wow, that's a really good question. You got me on the spot there. I'm trying to think. Well, I'll tell you. There's a author. She's probably about 30. Her name's Ilyana Stareva, and she wrote a book called Inbound PR, which is really all about helping PR people who sometimes can be a little traditional in their way of doing things. And I come from a background in PR,
Yes.
ways to really incorporate digital marketing and inbound marketing into their processes in the agency.
Yep.
Really, wrote really helpful book. So she's a thought leader out there who I think is an up and comer. And I should say I've got my own first ever book coming out in October called Trust,
Yay.
which also talks about ways of kind of merging the ideas, disciplines of PR and digital marketing together in some new ways. And so Ileana and I have talked over the years because I've admired her approach. She was over at HubSpot. She came from PR world, and it's nice as someone who came from PR and sees a lot of PR people are still struggling with how to take that step into really creating a digital marketing version of what they do. People are thinking about solving that. So she's an up and comer from my standpoint.
That's awesome. I'll have to look into that. And thank you for sharing that because it's always nice to have something new and fresh and, looking at it from a different perspective. But well, we could sit here and chat all day, but I just want everybody to know that how do we get involved with State of Search? So I put a little ticker at the bottom of our screen, and State of Search is October 24th and 25th at the Renaissance Hotel in Richardson, Texas. So how do you get tickets? You go to stateofsearch.org, and that's again stateofsearch.org, and just click on buy your ticket. And there are a limited number of seats in person, but we also are doing it virtually. So there's unlimited virtually. We really want everybody in person because we're ready to get back together and shake hands and hug and share stories and all that kind of good stuff. So, Scott, thank you so much for being here today. We really do appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing you at State of Search.
Thank you. I look forward to being there.
Absolutely. Bye bye.
Bye.